Hello and welcome to another Tabletop Ramblings Middle-earth strategy battle game battle report. Today's 450-point game is between the forces of Dale, led by King Brand and Prince Bard, the two new heroes, and a horde of Moria goblins with their troll and bats, led by Durbers and Groblog. The armies are both quite simple today. We have Durbers leading a mixture of goblins with different war gear. He's also got a troll and a bat swarm. Groblog has a bat swarm and goblins, and then the model there with a banner is the goblin shaman, and he again just has a mixture of different war geared goblins. The forces of Dale, led by King Brand and Prince Bard, have identical warbands. They have 3 archers, 3 of the new knights, 3 guys with shield, and 4 with spear and shield. And that conveniently is a full box of troops, the 2 heroes, and then 6 of the knights. A nice, easy number of points for quite a simple set of purchases to get into Dale. That means that this Dale army isn't necessarily the most optimised. We definitely have more spears in, but it's still incredibly fun to play with. Before we get stuck in, this goblin archer challenges you to find him. He's hiding in a piece of terrain somewhere on the battlefield. Comment below with a timestamp if you're able to find him. This is the battlefield for today. Some disused farmland with a few broken fences and some scrub. And on this battlefield, there are 6 objective markers. There's 1 here, 1 in the centre, 1 down there, 1 between the rocks, 1 just there, and then 1 tucked in with those fences. And these are all potentially the objective, as today's scenario is Heirlooms of Ages Past. Only one of these objectives is the real one. So when a model ends its move in base contact with an objective, we roll a dice. On a 1 to 5, it's not the real thing, but on 6, that is the objective, and it's picked up, and then the rest are discarded. Finding that relic is worth a lot of points. It's worth 3 if you've been able to pick it up, but then it ends up getting dropped, and you've got more models around it than the enemy. 6 if you are still holding it at the end of the game. There's also 1 victory point for wounding the enemy leader and 2 for killing them, 1 for breaking the enemy, 2 for breaking them while being unbroken, and then 1 victory point for having a banner at the end, and 2 if you have a banner and the enemy does not, although neither of these forces have a banner to begin with. As always, victory points are counted up at the end of the game, and this game ends at the end of a turn in which 1 force has been reduced to 25% or below. Deployment is Maelstrom of Battle, so we'll go straight ahead and roll for turn 1 priority. And it will be good deploying first. End of turn 1, and most of the units are now on the board except for Prince Brand, who rolled a 1 and didn't come in, but the king has come in and formed a bit of a bubble, moving towards 1 of the potential objectives, while the goblins have all come in up at the top, and a bat swarm has tried to pick up an objective, but it wasn't the real thing. So we'll roll for turn 2 priority. And this time it goes to evil. Start of evil's move, and the shaman is going to channel a fury. He's going to use 2, and it goes off on the 5. So he now has channeled fury, which gives all goblins within 6 inches fearless and a 6-up invulnerable save. End of turn 2, and the goblins have advanced. The shaman casting his fury and just trying to link up with the goblins to keep protected. The bat made a beeline for another potential objective, but again, didn't roll the 6, so that was not the heirloom. For good, in their move, again, just advancing, realigning now that they know exactly where the enemy is. And the king tried to pick up an objective, but again, didn't roll high enough. Then at the end of the move, Prince Brand, Bard, always get those confused, the prince, regardless, came on. He decided not to link up with the rest of the forces, as there's objectives over this side, which the bats are probably more able to get at than the forces of Dale if they were to deploy over there. So he's gone over that side to have a bit of a fight on 2 fronts. So that is the movement phase. There's no shooting as the forces aren't quite close enough yet, so we'll roll for turn 3 priority. And again, it goes to evil. End of turn 3 movement, and the goblins are just pushing up with the shaman, linking up with the rest of the force. And the bats flying off ahead, they're in range of those 2 objectives for next turn. The forces up at the top with the troll also moved just across to try and start working their way towards the prince. In Good's move, managed to get 3 archers rather into a firing line on the goblin archers, who have also moved half, and the force with the king have just moved across more towards the center, where the fighting is going to be towards these 3 objectives. And this chap is making a beeline for there, and those 2 are moving in for that one. That's the end of the movement phase, but there will be some shooting. Evil priority, and the 2 archers in the distance are going to be shooting at this chap up on the rock. 1 hits on the 6, having moved, they need a 6 to hit, so that's good. And it's a 6! They wound and kill the archer. First blood going to Moria. These 2 chaps then, in the good shooting phase, are going to shoot straight back. 1 hits. Can they wound? No. Those strength 3 hitting on 3s bows have been less effective than Moria. Over on the other side of the board, there's 3 archers here with the prince, who are looking to do better than their kingly counterparts. They're going to fire onto those 2 archers who had to move full to get into range, so they're unable to shoot. So they hit on 3s, but it's force because they've moved. Oh dear, just 1 hit. Strength 3, wounding on 5s. No wound. So that is a fairly poor set of shots from both of the different sides of the battle for good, although evil have managed to kill an archer. End of turn 3, this is how we are looking. Still haven't quite clashed yet, although the arrows have been exchanged and the warriors of Dale are starting to fall. Let's roll for turn 4 priority. And again, it goes to evil. End of the movement phase. And again, the goblins are just pushing up. The bats have been a bit more timid this turn, as they are in reach of the objectives, but even if they were to pick it up, they could just be heroic moved and pounced on next turn, as the goblin heroes, being so slow, are out of range to try any heroic moves to help them out. So they've had to be a bit cautious now. They're just trying to regroup, while the forces of good are continuing to plough forward. They are going to be in range of those objectives and also this one next turn. So it's looking likely that the objective will be dug up soon, and then the battle will get really, really intense. There's some shooting though before we go into the next turn. These two goblins have stayed still and these two archers are in range. So we'll go into the shoot phase. Starting off the shoot phase then with these two goblins. They've stood still, so they're hitting on 5s. Going for these two with the barrels in the way. They both hit. Little snipers. Do they get past the barrel? No, they get stuck on the barrels and boxes there in front of them. We then come across around the board to these two who are in range of the prince. They've not moved, so again, they're hitting on 5s, but this time both miss. That is all of the goblin shooting. Looking to return the favour, the 3 archers here who have moved up half are in range of those goblins. And only 1 hits because they moved. They could have stood still and shot, but realistically they need to keep as close to their friends as possible to get stuck into combat. And no wound there. We then come across to these 2 archers, and hopefully we'll have recovered from them having a heart attack with the postman putting some stuff through the door. Very unexpected, despite the fact that it's the same time every day. So these 2 on those 2 archers up there. 1 hit. They, with the army bonus, are fight value 3 for shooting, or shoot value in fact. So does it go past the barrels? Yes. 5+ to wound? No. So close, but so far away for the legendary Dale archers. End of turn, I believe 4, and the forces vying for these remaining 3 objectives are getting very, very close. We'll roll for next turn priority. And it goes this time to good. The turn, and Dale have advanced, moving in on the centre with the archers taking cover, and over there Prince Bard or Brand, whichever, advanced, and one of these chaps tried to pick up the objective and it wasn't the relic. They didn't pick it up here because you can only try once per turn. Evil then responded by ignoring them and running away, because if the objective's not over there, they might as well bring their full might down here where the objective is going to be. So it's a difficult one there for Dale. Possibly should have gone for the centre and then there, but either way, hopefully the objective will be that one, and the combined might of Moria won't be able to smash them to bits. It's difficult, this scenario, when one side has the objective. It's hard to shift them. It's probably going to be Dale at this point. But with Dale probably having to face the full Moria army with half of theirs, it could well balance itself out. This should be quite an interesting turn of events now. So that's the movement phase. We'll go into the shooting. We'll start off with those 2 archers shooting into those 2. And they both miss. Then we go over into this corner with these 5 archers shooting into the prince. They've moved, they've not moved rather, so hitting on 5s. Oh, he has now because he's been knocked. So 2 hits, wounding on 6s by 4s. Oh, there's a 6. 6 is by force to get through the defense 7. Sadly, not quite enough. The defense 7 of the prince sees him through. Firing back in defense of the king, these 3 bowmen are going to take shots at those 2 there. And all miss. Very, very poor shooting still from Dale. Trying to redeem the shooting for good are these 2 archers. They have moved. They're going for the bat. They're hitting on 4s. 1 hit at point blank range. 1 still managed to miss. So he's going for the bat. Strength 3 Escalating bows on defense 3 bat will need a 4, and it's a 3. No chance. That bat with 4 wounds as well. So very tough to take down with a couple of stray shots, and especially tough with the Dale archers, who seem to have completely forgotten how to shoot. End of turn 5 then, and we see the goblins hurtling towards the king and his warband, ignoring the prince and going for the prize. Let's roll for turn 6 priority. And it's a draw. So as good had it last, it goes to evil. End of the move phase, and the goblins are charging towards the king, who was unable to find the relic, which means it must be here. Next turn he'll be able to pick it up, but charging towards him, or flying towards him, the bats making their way to try and kill him and run off. The prince is coming round, but he's chasing the goblins, and he's going to take a long time for him to catch up. Here, the bats managed to charge in on those 2 archers, and there was no one really able to help out without removing too many from the shield wall. So there will be some combats, but first off, it's shooting. We start off over here with these 5 archers, and they are shooting at those 3 Dale archers because they're only defense 4, so they'll be wounding on 5s. Only 1 hit. Can they get a kill? Wounding on 5s. Yes. 1 of the Dale archers goes down before they've even managed to kill a goblin. That is not good for Dale. The 2 archers over here have advanced, as their shooting now is all going to be blocked off, and they might as well be running towards the objective. Returning fire, the 2 remaining Dale bowmen are going to try and take out those 2 guys there. They have moved. Both hit. That's more like it on 5s. Wounding on 5s. 1 kill. They're going to go for the chap closest to the action. With the shooting done, we come to the combat phase. It's the bat against 2 warriors of Dale. The bat has a special rule that halves rounding down enemy fight value. But as the bat is fight value 1 and the warriors of Dale are fight value 4, it's still a lower fight value, which allows the warriors of Dale to feint, or at least one of them, which will be the tabletop ramblings dice, but it's 2 attacks apiece. Oh, and the bat fluffs it. A 2 and a 3. So strength 3 on defense 3, they're wounding on 4s. And that is 1 wound on the bat, who backs away and is down to 3 wounds. End of the turn, and both forces are about to collide in the centre. Let's roll for turn possibly 7 priority, and it goes to evil. Evil priority means that the bats will both be able to fly off and get a massive head start on the men chasing them as they move 12 inches. To counter that, the king is going to call a heroic move. It means that he can retreat and try and get someone to help tie down that bat. It won't stop that one, but it will at least try and stop that one. And it also keeps them safe for another turn from the troll and all those gribblies, and tries to turn the flank a little bit so that half the force will hit them before the troll. Evil are going to counter with Groblog. The Knights of Dale have a special rule where if they are charged, they gain +1 to wound. So it's strange that Moria are calling a heroic move to try and charge them, but they want to tie them down and stop them running back towards where the objective will be. So we'll do a roll off. Groblog or the king, 1, 2 or 3 it's evil, 4+ it goes to good. And Groblog will move first and finally chase down the men of Dale. End of the movement phase, and in a strange twist of fate, the slow and steady goblins have outmaneuvered Dale. They've got those 2 bats heading towards the chap who has decided not to try and pick up the objective. He's going to wait for his friends, and they're just going to be shielding and trying to survive as long as possible to allow the prince to link up with the king, although the king and his band are in quite a bit of trouble, having been charged by this monstrous horde of goblins. Up here, none of the archers have moved. They're going to continue their war. The Dale archers have decided that they're just going to stay still. If they can kill some goblins, get them close to break, then that is a good thing. Although that will still mean they'll need to take down the fury from the shaman, which is giving all of those goblins fearless, so they won't run when they break. It's definitely an uphill struggle now for Dale. That's the end of the move. We'll go into the shooting. Coming over to the archer war, we have the 4 goblins shooting first as they have priority, and they are firing into the... In fact, no, they're not going to shoot the Dale archers. They're going to go after the spearmen. We'll start with those 3. They've got a clear shot on him. No hits. And then that one chap there also misses. That's a shame. But the spearmen and co are closer to the fight and are more worthy targets. We've then got the 2 archers firing in up there. 1 hits, 5 to kill. No kill. That is poor shooting yet again from Dale. Shooting's not quite over though. We have these 2 who have shot and missed the bat, fought and managed to wound it, and now they're going to shoot it again as it flies past. 1 hits, 4 to wound, no wound. Loads of bats, very close, still can't hit it. And that is the end of the shooting. Into the combat phase, and the king and Groblog are both going to call heroic combats. The king is going to risk it for a biscuit and try and bring down the troll. And Groblog just wants to kill so that he can take down Dale as quick as possible here before the reinforcements arrive. So we'll roll off to see who's going first. And it will be evil, which is not ideal, as if Groblog breaks through, then the king could go after him instead of the troll. We'll see what happens though. We'll do Groblog as the tabletop ramblings dice, and then his friend in red. Although first off, does the crown go off? On a 4+, his magic crown, and it does go off, goes off and gives all the goblins around him +1 fight value, including himself. So he is now fight 4, which is the same as the warriors of Dale. So we'll roll with Groblog. He gets a 5. What does the shielding Dale warrior get? He absolutely bottles it. So rolling to wound, it's going to be on defense 5, 5s apiece. Oh, and they are not good enough. Groblog is not going to spend his last point of might on that. So he backs away and Groblog is fine. It's probably best not to waste that might. He couldn't really go anywhere other than just getting an extra kill. So that is the end of that heroic combat. We then come to the king, who is fighting against 1 goblin and a spearman. So the king, with 3 attacks, loses the fight. Oh dear me. And that would be his last point of might. That is crazy, crazy to spend that. He is not going to use might. He is just going to back away and take 2 strikes. 6 is to wound. and he is fine. No wounds there. That is not how those heroic combats were meant to go, but at least it was bad for both sides. So then we'll do a 2-on-2. The front Dale, using the tabletop ramblings dice, oh, if we drop it, will be fainting, and the goblins just fighting normally. The goblins win. That is a shame, as he's got the +1 to wound as well for being charged. It's 6s to kill. No, so they back away. We then have a 2-on-1 chap there, and that chap is going to shield and lose. Not good. Dale really bottling it here, although goblins famously unable to kill anything in combat. We then have a 4-on-2. Can Dale do it? Yes, they can with a 6. And then it's 5s to wound. Can they get them both? No, but 1 will do. So they back away, and then they go after the goblin in the middle. That's not too shabby. And then final combat of the turn is the troll against 2 knights who have been charged. So there'll be +1 to wound and a spear support against that mighty, burly 2-handed troll. So he's got no penalty in the duel, but he's +1 to wound in the fight if he wins it. So the front 2, they're going to stab, because if they lose, they're dead anyway. So they will stab there with the tabletop ramblings dice. And they've won! They have beaten the troll! The troll 3 high is definitely not enough. So then to wound, it is 6s on the normal dice, and it's 5s re-rolling 1s on tabletop ramblings. Can they do it? Oh, so close, but so far away. 4s don't cut the mustard, and the troll backs away. But importantly, they have held the line, waiting for their redemption as Prince Bard runs towards them. It's very tense, both up here with the goblins trying to break through the first Dale force and escape the second, while down here the bats are chasing down the remaining objective, with a few warriors coming to the aid of that poor spearman. So let's roll for turn, whatever it is, priority. Oh, and it goes to evil. So close there. Start of the move phase, and with evil priority, the prince is calling a heroic move. It means he'll be able to get in on the goblins. He'll be vulnerable to being wrapped round and all the rest, but at least he'll finally be able to catch them. And even if they do wrap round, that means they're pulling away from the king and from the objective. To counter that, Durbers is going to use his first point of might to call and try and escape the prince's wrath and bring some pain to the king. So roll off 1, 2, or 3, it's Durbers and the goblins. 4+, it's the prince and Dale. And it goes to the goblins on a 1. End of that heroic move. The goblins have pushed through this little gap here to surround a few of the enemy warriors of Dale. The troll has charged in, and all along the line they've got into combats with the shaman, Durbers and Groblog as far away from the prince as possible, and just a little bit of a rear guard against the prince. And now we'll do the prince's heroic move. After the prince's heroic move, he's charged up, but he's just too far away to bring any pain this turn. End of the movement phase, and the lines here, as we've seen, are fully entangled with the prince trying his best to catch up to his father and the embattled men. The goblins have charged in on those archers. Up here, the archers are just having their continued pillow war. And down here, the wounded bat has charged in and tied up the spearman. allowing the unwounded back to claim the objective. You didn't need to roll a dice. Because it's the last one, it's guaranteed to be that one. But the 3 swordsmen of Dale are running up, hoping to pounce on it, and if they can trap it, they should be able to bring it down quickly. It is going to be fairly tense for the next few rounds, especially in terms of priority. That's how we're looking then. We do have some shots, so we'll go into the shoot phase. Evil priority. So we'll start off with the 4 goblins going into those spearmen, shooting them in the back. They've not moved, so they're hitting on 5s. That's 1 hit, and wounding on 6s. No kills. We then have these 2 archers who again haven't moved, so they're hitting on 3s. Only 1 hit despite that, and dearie me, no wounds there. Those archers have been pants. They're just going to become foot sloggers now and run off to the objective. They have been fired as archers. Into the combat phase. There's no heroic, so we'll just roll for Groblog's crown, see if it goes off. And it does not. Then we'll go and we'll just work our way across. We'll do this one here, which is a 4-on-2. That's quite nasty for Dale. The chap in front is going to feint. Oh, and they win the fight. That is good work there from Dale. Can they get 2 5s to wound 2 of them? No, but the fainting chap at the front does get a kill. So pushing them back, killing a goblin. We then have Groblog on 1. Groblog has a spearman, so we'll do Groblog as a tabletop ramblings dice against a shielding chap from Dale, who's in green. And it's a draw. In fact, no, it's not a draw because Groblog has a lower fight value. With his crown not going off, he's only fight 3. So Groblog and friend are pushed back. But that chap shielded, so no strikes. We then have a 2-on-1 there. In fact, 2-on-2. We'll give him the spear support so that the guy in front can feint. The forces of Dale have won. Can they kill? Oh, not quite. So again, the goblin backs away. It's all a bit of a mess here, but he can back away with his friend making way. We then have 2 against the king, who will feint, and a friend. Those 2 are sacrificial lambs, but only one of them can die. It is a drawn fight, but the fight value is kept, even though the king fainted. The higher fight value, his friend, wins the fight. So then rolling to wound, needing more than 2s, but the king fainted, so it's a 5 to kill. No, and you can't re-roll a re-roll, so the goblins back away. That is abysmal from the king. Dear me, not doing a very good showcase here of those new heroes, with one who's too slow to catch movement 5 goblins, and the other who is incapable of killing a single goblin. Let's see if they can redeem themselves in the next few turns. We'll do this fight here. It's 3 on a trapped chap, and he'll have +1 to wound, but is it insane to fight? He's going to go brave. He is going to fight it, and really wish he hadn't. If it shielded, would it have made a difference? No, so he'd have died anyway. Although it is 6s to wound him, nothing there. Double strikes for being trapped, and nothing again. So the goblins just back slightly off, just to no longer be in base contact. It's been pointed out that they don't back off a full inch. So then we'll do this fight here, a 1-on-1. They're both just going to fight. It's a draw, so it goes to good on fight value, and he kills him. Finally, a goblin is killed in the shield wall exchange here. Although they're slowly grinding them down, but the heroes are running out of strength. We then have the troll against a shielding knight. That chap there, who loses to the might of the troll. The troll could barge and try and do some mess about stuff, but instead he's just going to rend, and he has killed him. In fact, rending and striking normally with his burly would be the same, but either way, he's killed that chap, and one more warrior of Dale closer to Moria achieving their victory. We'll come across to the flank where we have the archers fighting it out. We've got this archer against that one, and it goes to good, wounding on 5s, no kill. The goblin backs away, and then same again. Again it goes to good, 5 to kill, no, and the goblin backs away. We then have the final fight. We have the spearman against the wounded bat. The spearman is going to shield, so it's 2 apiece, and it goes to good, just pushing that bat back so that they've got the numbers to try and kill that bat. End of the turn, and it is carnage. The forces of good are still holding out though, ready for the prince to smash into the rear of those goblins. So all is not lost, although the objective is firmly in evil's hands. A lot is going to come down to this priority roll, and it goes to evil. That is not remotely what good needed, as now the objective is free to fly off. With priority going to evil, Prince Bard is calling a heroic move. He wants to be able to trap the goblins, crush them between the 2 Dale forces, because if the goblins break, odds are those Courage 2 bats will flee. And if they can bring down the goblin leader in the process, they should be able to claim victory. The goblins do not want that to happen. So Durbers is calling a heroic move himself to counter it. So on a 1, 2, 3, it's evil. On a 4+ good, we'll finally win a roll-off. But it's evil. And Durbers is successfully able to counter that heroic. End of the movement phase, and with the heroic move, Durbers has again hidden in the centre, a couple of guys protecting him, while down here the goblin force is going fairly evenly toe-to-toe with Dale. The troll has managed to get in on the king. Up here, however, the goblins have just gone in where they were able to tie down the forces of Dale, but it's not looking good for those few sacrificial lambs, especially as the spear supports have come around to trap. It's a bit of a mess up there. The goblins are probably going to start taking some casualties fairly heavily now, but the bats have moved up, hopefully trying to link up with some standfasts up here for if the goblins break, and importantly, just staying away from these 4 who are now again aimlessly chasing, which seems to be Dale's MO in this game. And the archers up at the top, still doing what archers do, which is standing there and shooting. So we'll go into the shoot phase. Evil priority again. So these 4 archers are going to shoot into the spearman at the back there that's not engaged in combat. There's 1 hit. Can they kill him on a 6? No, nothing there from the archers. But then there are 2 Dale archers who we've said need to sack off shooting, but one last chance. Ooh, 1 hit. Can it be a kill? Yes, finally. A goblin is shot down. I think that's the second one they've killed, but even so, hitting on 3s, wounding on 5s, they should have killed a lot more. Start of the combat phase, and fighting against the troll, who is a higher fight value than him. The king is using his last point of might for a heroic strike. The prince isn't really able to go anywhere with a heroic move, and it would leave him fairly mightless, so he is not going to bother. He's just going to try and kill. So we'll start off the fights with this one here. It's just a simple 1-on-1. It goes to good, 5s to kill, and he's killed him. Good start there for Dale. We then have a 2-on-1, but he does have the +1 to wound for being charged, so he's going to fight it. Oh, and he bottles it. He only needed to beat a 2, and he rolled a 1. Wounding him on 6s, They are unable to get through his armor. We'll then do Bard and Friend. He is going to feint. He's got the 6, so he's 1. He's got the fight value from his friend, and he kills. And there's even a 1 to reroll if needed. So that's another dead goblin. Dale looking to break them as quick as possible. We'll then shield here. It's goblin priority. Even though they're both trapped, he'll go for the shielding one first because it gives him the highest odds of surviving. And one of the Warriors of Dale will feint. The Knights of Dale, rather. And amazingly, the goblin pushes them back, winning on a 4. We'll then do this chap, who's no longer trapped against 2. So he's got no shield, he's just a spearman. And he loses, going down on 5s. He's fine. He backs away. That's not the worst possible result for Moria there. We'll then do a 1-on-1 here. It goes to evil, but they fail to kill. We then have another 1-on-1, and it goes to good, +1 to wound, so wounding on 4s. No, nothing there. We've then got the king. The king who strikes, what does he strike? 2 to 6. So he's only even fight value with the troll. That is pathetic there from the king. Just find the dice. So it is 3-on-3. The king, who has done nothing all turn. This is where he wins the fight and he one-shots that troll. Come on, king. No, he loses. And that pointless strike has has been his last point of might. So he loses. He backs away. And the troll can now make strikes. Strength 6 against defense 7, it's 5s, but down to 4s because he is burly. So he is going to make his strikes. If he rendered, it would be 4s anyway. So he is going to, oh, in fact, would it 6-on-4? Yeah. Oh, no, we'll double check. In fact, no, strength 6, rending against strength 4 will be 3s to wound. So 3s to wound the king from the troll. And he has done 3 wounds. Only 1 fate for the king, who passes. He's failed everything else so far, but he at least passes his fate. No might, no fate, 1 wound, but he is still alive. Next fight along, we have this goblin against 2, and he is going to shield. And he wins, pushing back those 2 elite warriors with a 6, although he would actually have won it with just 1 dice rolling a 2, which is impressive there for the goblin. We'll then do this 2-on-1, but the Warrior of Dale is going to shield, so it's a 2-on-2. Goes to evil, needing just 5s to get through their defense 5. And he goes down. That is a dead Warrior of Dale, just making some gaps here in the Dale line so that the goblins can pour through and, importantly, escape from the rest of Dale. We then have Groblog. Oh, in fact, we'll roll to see if his crown goes off, and it does, so he's at even fight value. Wouldn't have really affected any of these fights. So Groblog with his spear support. We'll let him set the bar at a 6. Shielding Chappie only gets a 5. And Groblog and Friend wounding on 5s get the kill. 2 kills in quick succession there for Moria. They are starting to push through. We've then got this next fight, which is the Shaman, who's actually got stuck into the fight with 2 warriors. We'll do the Shaman as the tabletop ramblings dice, although he's got no might. Against, in fact, we'll do them all as red because the front guy here will feint. So it will be a easier to do all of evil on the red, and they win nice and easily there, getting the 5 to the 2 high from Dale, and then it is 5s across the board to kill, and that 6 will do it. That warrior backs away to make room, but his friend goes down. Dale have just crumbled at this section here of the shield wall, having held firm for a good few turns. Just as reinforcements arrive, they have failed. Fighting's not over though, we have a one-on-one. Can the archers of Dale prove themselves? Oh, so close, a 5, it's not enough. 5's to kill. Oh, and another warrior of Dale goes down. The goblins really securing this right flank so that the bats have somewhere to hide. This could not have gone better for the goblins. Final one-on-one, come on Dale. He's won. He's getting a 5 here, possibly a 6, but definitely a kill. Oh, a 4. So close, but so far away. He's not been able to kill that goblin. And that is the end of the fight. End of that turn, and the prince and his company have finally got into the fray, but it could be too little too late, as the warriors of Dale have just capitulated here. The line has crumbled and the king has taken a beating. Let's roll for a very important priority. And it goes to good. That is exactly what they need to hold this line. With good getting priority and the game very much hanging in the balance in the centre, Groblog is calling a heroic move. So the prince is using his last point of might to counter. It's all or nothing here. Dale need to surround and kill the goblins very, very soon. So this is going to be important. Will Dale ever win a roll-off? Yes! They have won the roll-off and the prince will move first. After a successful heroic for the prince, he has charged into this chap and wrapped around, allowing all of his guys just to tie the goblins down, trying to kill them as quick as possible, and they've tied down the goblin king so that he can't run away from a very angry prince. Importantly, this chap passed his courage test with flying colours to charge the troll, to stop that troll from mincing the king. There's still quite a few unengaged goblins, and even though it's good priority, the goblins are moving next because Groblog's heroic move. After the goblins' heroic move, they have charged down. They're just trying to break through down here, and they've piled in a couple of extra guys to help out Durbers, who still has a point of might for a heroic move, heroic combat, sorry. And this bat is out of range of being charged by anything and can get into that fight. So that means there could well be a bat flying around after the combats have begun, which makes the king very vulnerable, and there's nowhere really he can go because of the control zone of this goblin that gets him all that safely away from the goblin. So the next few moves will be quite crucial. End of the movement phase then, and the king has managed to have one of his friends take out the control zone to just hide away from the troll, although the prince is still in mincing range. Everywhere else has just been business as usual, although here the objective carrying bat has been tagged by 3 warriors of Dale. And up here, the archers have just run towards the centre, both Dale and the goblins now running in, as this central scrap is where the battle will be decided. So no shooting, we'll go into the combats. Start of the combat phase, and Durbers, who's hiding there behind the bat, is calling a heroic combat. There's 6 attacks for evil in that fight, and the bat has halved the enemy fight value, so on that 6, they have won. Double strikes, all wounding on 5s, and they kill him. They botched it a lot, but they have killed that chap who is whipped out, and then all of those can move. The most important, however, is that the bat which has been pre-measured. This wounded bat is coming across, oh dear, crush that guy's sword, and charge in just to try and help out the objective carrying bat. The rest of these guys also get to move, and Durbers, who can just reach the fence, is going to try and jump it, and he does. So he runs up and jumps over, and the shaman is going to do the same. He gets a 6, so he can actually move, but there's nowhere really to go. He wouldn't have been able to reach that combat, so he is over there, just so that with all Dale over here, We've got some standfasts and the leader over on this side, away from Dale and towards the objective carrying bat, so that if the goblins are destroyed and wiped out by Dale, the odds are the objective will still be in goblin hands. And with this guy still left to move from that heroic, he joins the fight to trap that warrior of Dale. As we're here, we'll do that fight next. It's the 3 goblins on the shielding warrior of Dale. And the warrior of Dale botches it there on a 2 high. And he is getting wounded on 5s. And they kill him. Another dead warrior of Dale. That is not good at all for the forces of good. We'll do the prince next. Can he do a little bit better? Prince on a spearman. Oh, only just. He draws the fight. And then he butchers the goblin. That's more like it. We've then got a series of one-on-ones. We've got that one-on-one there. And evil win. Wounding on 6s. No. So he backs away. And then another one-on-one. It goes to evil again. But no wound. And then here we have a 2-on-2. Dale will feint with the chap that's in combat, and the spear support will fight normally. And they've won this time, looking to kill both. It's 5s on both, but the tabletop ramblings dice is the feinter, which is re-rolling 1s. 1 kill. I'll go after the spearman, and the shield guy backs away. Then we come down to this one-on-one here. And again, it goes to evil, but unable to break through that elite armor. We've then got this guy against, in fact, it's 2-on-1. So they're going to fight, front guy fainting. They win just on the 2, but they're unable to kill that goblin who backs away. We'll do the troll who is fighting, oh, in fact, that guy there next to him, not behind him. So the guy will shield against the troll. The troll wins on the 6. So he's 1. If he barges, he'll need 4 inches of movement on the d6 to hit the prince. Probably won't kill him, and it'll be +1s to wound for the prince if he's charged. So he's just going to stand there and kill. He is going to rend him because it's 3s, and he's got him. Smashed him to bits. That is another dead warrior, which amazingly is bringing Dale fairly close to break. And the goblins have not lost that many. They've actually killed more than they've lost, which is unusual for goblins. We then have the king against 1 goblin, and that goblin is going to stab, because the king, if he botches it, which he has done a lot, could well die here. Oh, the king's found his feet. Here we go, and he's going to kill him on 5s. Yes, there we go. That's the king we know and love. He has annihilated that goblin there. We've then got a 2-on-2 with these 2 here against those 2. It's a draw, so it goes to good. Obviously the front one fainting, because that's what they're always going to be doing. And it's a kill. Another goblin dead. Roughly even now, trading blows. More goblins going down than Dale actually at the moment, so it could be swinging back. It's very much anyone's game. He is going to shield. We'll let him set the bar. He gets a 6. Does the crown go off? No, so the crown hasn't gone off, which means Groblog, in fact, is fight 4, because he is involved in a fight with a trapped opponent. So it is still worth rolling. Groblog will be the tabletop ramblings dice, but they botch it and don't kill, so they just shimmy back a touch, and that fight has no outcome really, because he's just shielded and pushed them back. We then have a 2-on-1. 2 archers against the 1, and evil win. Killing on 5s? No. So that archer survives, although he's in a lot of trouble with Durbers, the shaman and 2 archers there. That is not a good place to be. The next fight then, we'll do this 1-on-1. It's the bat against the chap who is... Oh, he's going to fight it, because that's the wounded bat. Oh, he loses so close. He is going to be going down on 5s. Number 6 kills him. That is not good. Shielding probably would have been a better option, but you never kill anything by shielding. 2-on-2. Front guy going to feint. And they win, and this is the objective, carrying bat. They're wounding on 4s, re-rolling 1s on the tabletop ramblings dice. 2 wounds. That is 2 wounds on the objective, carrying bat. Dale very much now back in the game. If they can get priority and get the jump on that bat, then they are looking to be in a good position there. That is the end of the turn. It's been very, very brutal. Let's roll for turn. Who knows priority? But it goes to evil. Dale in trouble. With evil priority and no might left on the board, evil have been able to just tie up everything. The archers have managed to get in, with the Dale archers slowly catching up, but all across the board they have tied stuff down. Not too favourable up here, but it gets better and better down here. Highlighting in the king, having to face off against the bat and the troll. It could be the end for the king. These 2 just screened off the bat so that they couldn't charge in, drawing the bat away from the king. But they decided instead to chase down the objective, or at the very least to try and wound Durbers. It's a long shot now. Durbers and a lot of friends, including the spear supporting shaman and the bat with the objective, are just ganging up on this guy, securing the flank to keep the leader and objective safe. It's looking fairly dire now for Dale to get a win, but if they can just survive, they may still be able to break the goblins and salvage something from this. There's no shooting. We'll go into the combat phase. We'll start off with this comedy combat. 7 mightless dice against a shielding. Oh, he's fine. No, he can't even shield. He's not got a shield. He's just a bowman against a dead guy. So they've got more than enough to win the fight. He's even been halved to fight value 2 by the bat for some serious overkill. And then he's absolutely wiped out. He is killed. There's no heroic off that. It's just to secure the flank and just to make sure that the bat and the leader stay safe for the forces of Moria. We'll then do Groblog. Does his crown go off? No. So he's got no crown. He's actually a lower fight value than that spearman. So the spearman is going to fight it and lose, obviously. Dale have been so unlucky, but no wounds to the spearman, who spins ready to fend off against the rock dweller. We then have a 1-on-1 there with the goblin spearman against Dale spearman. Dale lose and die on the 5. Oh, Dale, what are you doing? We've then got, so he's already fought, but it's a 2-on-1, and that chap is going to fight. He's being charged. He's got +1, and they're just cursed. If he'd have shielded, it would have been the better choice, but there we go. So wounding on 6s though, so he is still okay. He backs away. Oh, it's dodgy that, but he's probably okay backing away. We'll then do the king, I think. It's not really leaving anything too special till the end. The king, he is fairly stuffed there. His fight value is halved, rounding down to fight value 2. The troll is just going to mince him. So the troll and the bats. Oh, only get a 5. Can he survive? There is no reason on earth that he would not be shielding here. So can he get the 6? Yes! The king has shielded off at fight value 2 because of the bat, shielded against the troll and survives. Probably should have left that till last then, but there we go. So a 2-on-1 all the way around, and he's going to shield. So 2 on 2. They have beaten him. One of them should have been fainting, as we say. That he's always going to faint if there's 2 in the fight, and they kill. Come on, Dale. Need to pick up the pace here. Need to get these kills. It's then a 1-on-1 here. Goes to Evil, looking for 6s. Just a 5. He backs away. We then have 2 on 1, so Evil will shield. Again, one of them is going to be fainting. Just picking up the wrong dice because we're in a rush because the battery is very low. They doubly kill him. We then have Bard against 2, and he is going to fight normally. He wins, and he needs 5s. It's a 5 regardless, so he has killed. And then 1-on-1, we have a victory for good, but no kill. And then the final fight, a 1-on-1. It goes to the archers. Can they kill him? No, not on a 1. So he backs away. And that is the end of a very brutal combat phase. End of the turn, and Dale are bang on their 50% point. One more loss will see them broken. The goblins are keeping up with the kills and their losses. They're roughly even. So they are still a couple more models away from break as they outnumbered Dale to begin with. So rolling priority, and it goes to Evil on the 7. No, it's a draw on that misprinted dice. So it goes to whoever didn't have it last. So it goes to Good. End of the movement phase with Good priority. One of the spearmen has managed to charge into the bat. He's not going to be able to kill it this time, but if he can get it down to 1 wound, that's quite good. This chap's been trapped, but he did go in on Durbers and Friend to protect the guy that's going after the bat. All over with Good priority. They've just charged where they can, trying to keep the king safe from the troll, and the prince is working his way around to try and come this way and kill. Bard and co. The Warriors of Dale, their plan is basically just break the goblins and pray. As far as Evil are concerned, it's pretty much the opposite. Try not to break and keep that objective. The king is fighting against the bat, but he's got a spear support whose control zone will stop the troll from being able to barge onto him, so he's at least safe this turn. Although with only 1 wound and no fate, he's only 1 bad dice roll away from death. There's no shooting, everything's in combat, so we'll go into the combat phase. And we'll start off up here. Do this 1-on-1 first to try and free that trap chap there, as it is Good priority. Good win it on the draw, 5 to kill, and they kill. That is the start of the turn that Good need. We then have the archer on 2. And he wins on the draw again. Another 5 will get a kill. Not quite, but he doesn't die. That's still good for the forces of Dale. 1-on-1. It's another draw, so it goes to Dale. And it's a kill. Dale on the rampage now. 1-on-1. It goes to Evil. 6 to kill. Oh, and it's a 6. That kills the warrior. The knight, in fact, of Dale. We then have this 1-on-1, and it goes to Good, 5 to kill. That's a 6. Every combat has resulted in a death so far. This is a brutal turn. We'll do the troll. So shielding against that troll. Ooh, and in fact, no, not at all. Not a draw because, while it's a draw on the dice, the troll obviously wins with fight value. And then he can't really do anything if he barges, so he's just going to kill. And he rinses that poor warrior. We then have a good couple of traps. So we'll do this trap first. The guy next to the troll wins. is against the trapped goblin, so it's double strikes, but no kill on a 4. So we'll just back him off slightly. He survives. We've then got a 1-on-1. That goblin is still trapped. It's difficult to see, but he can't make way enough. Oh, but the goblin wins. Can he kill on a 5? No. So he backs away. But he is alive. We've then got a 1-on-1, which goes to good. 5s to kill. No kill. So that's him. And then, oh, something's gone awry here because he's already fought, dear me. So that must have been with Bardin as well. We'll just roll his dice to see if he kills, and he does kill. There we go. It's a bit difficult to follow all the combats on the screen. So then we have the bat. And the bat has 2 attacks against Spearman, backing up the fainting king. Can the king do it? Yes, he can on the 6. And then this bat has 2 wounds left. 3 wounds, rather. But the king is wounding on... In fact, they're both wounding on 4s. Can they do it? No, but fainting. Yes, the bat is dead. The king cuts the bat down, and that could well be a broken Moria now. We'll then do this fight here. Groblog, does his crown go off? No. So that means that the shielding chap who'll set the bar at just a 4 could win the fight on the draw, although probably not with a 4. No, Groblog wins. Just destroy all of the scenery. Put that back up. So Groblog striking first, needing definitely more than that. That is abysmal. And then his friends who get him on the 6. That guy is dead, and that is more than likely now both forces broken, but we'll count up at the end. So then we'll do Durbers and 2 against a shielding or fighting. A fighting blokey. He's probably going to die anyway, so we might as well give it a go. Oh, he loses, but only just. So Durbers will go first, needing 5s, and flattens him. That is another casualty. We then have the bat with the objective against a fighting spearman. The spearman wins it on fight value because he is 4 halved to 2, which is still high enough to win on the draw against a fight 1 bat. And wounding, he does a wound. The bat swarm with the objective now down to just 1 wound. That is scary times there for Moria. He backs away and will go to priority. We'll roll priority, and then we'll catch a few minutes to count up how many are left on each side. It's a draw, so it goes to whoever didn't have it last, which means that Moria will have priority. Evils move and they have priority, and they are broken, as are the forces of Dale. And this game ends at 25%, so they are going to try and quarter themselves. They're going to take courage tests without doing stand fasts. That guy annoyingly passes. We'll come back and move them in a moment. It's not quite right, but it's quicker. That chap also passes. That guy fails. There we go. That's what we need. We need to get less than 8 goblins left to end the game. So then here, things get a bit messy. These 2 are within 6 of the shaman. So the shaman is now going to have to move far enough away that his fury bubble doesn't affect things, which is a shame. Although actually you can turn off fury. So he is going to automatically pass his stand fast, and then he's going to use a 1 dice transfix on this chap. It doesn't go off, but it doesn't matter. He's now out of will, so his fury drops off. He's just going to stand there next to the bat so that the bat will pass, and then we'll start taking more courage tests. So that guy fails. That guy passes. That guy passes. Stop passing. That guy fails. And that chap there fails because they are courage 2. Should be failing many more than this. And then the last spearman fails. That could well be enough to see them quartered. We'll do Groblog. He passes. The king passes. And then the bat will benefit. Oh. Yeah, and so the last one, the king, does call a stand fast. That would be insane to let the bat run. So the bat is still there, and that could well see them quartered. We'll just finish off their move, and then we'll come back. End of evil move, and they are down to 8 remaining. So the game will end this turn. They've got the objective. This guy could still fluke it, win and take it, which will be an incredible spin at the end. There's just one last courage test to take. The troll we forgot about. He fails, so he runs, which seals the fate for this game. As we're here, we'll do these guys' courage tests. We've got this chap here. He stays. He's brave. He will just spear support. The other spearman legs it. And then that final spearman stays. We wouldn't normally do all the courage tests on camera, but there weren't too many here, and they've been fairly important ones. So that is all of those courage tests. We'll do the combat, and we'll just start off right up at the top with the 2-on-1. And the goblin is going to stab, because why not? He loses, doesn't die, does the stab kill him? No, he doesn't. Then that fight there, a 1-on-1, goes to evil, needing 6s, no kill. And then we have, a mess down here. We'll do this trapped chap first. So it's the prince and 2. The prince will be fainting. And, not necessarily. The shielding guy wins, pushing the prince back. Really just making a mockery of these 2 new heroes, failing to die against the heroes. Again, very badly phrased. So we then have Groblog against 2 and the king. The king will faint and the 2 will fight it. Groblog is going to stab. If he can kill the king, it would be amazing. Oh, he does get a 6, but so does one of those spear supports. So Groblog has lost, and we'll roll the 2 plebs first, who do nothing. And then the king, who does nothing, but he can re-roll that 1 to a 3, so he backs away. Groblog's still alive. Then the only fight that matters is this one here, and that warrior is going to stab. He needs a 6 here, and he needs to kill the bat, taking the objective in the final turn. Here we go. Here's the 6. No, it's a 2. And that is not good. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dice for evil, needing a 2 high. They get it on the 6. So there was nothing that warrior could do with his fight value halved. And then he is killed. And that is the end of the game. End of the game, and that was a very, very hard fought battle, with the goblins winning as they have the objective. They have 6 victory points for still carrying the objective with their 1 wound bat, and they get 1 for wounding the enemy leader, 1 for breaking the enemy. So that's 8, with Dale just getting 1 for breaking Moria. An 8-1 win for Moria. It's a shame really that the 2 new Dale heroes couldn't do more, although when they did get stuck into combat they did start to chew through goblins, but it was just too little too late, with the king taking a bit of a beating from the troll. I hope you enjoyed this game. It's certainly been great fun to use the new Dale models. While they've been in various stages of being painted up, I've played a few games with them, and they've won every single one. But with them not being painted, it's not been filmed, which is typical, really. They
They definitely should have put up a better fight for the battle report, but there we go, that's how it goes. So thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time.